Right, so although I've got a couple more apple trees to put in, the one I put in the other day hasn't really extended into the full bag. It had clearly recently been repotted to a larger size, and its root really hadn't spread out, and I really don't want to be disturbing the roots of the other two while they're at that stage, and they are significantly smaller pieces too, so they should be a little bit more vulnerable to stress, so I want to give them a little bit more time to settle in. So today's tree is going back to one of the classics, so we're going with another Saba-nut, Pachira glabra, which we're putting out into the sort of most remote area, which does mean I have carted the water further than for anywhere else, but it's quite a nice sandy area. It really needs something to hold the roots together, so something nice and tolerant like the Saba-nut should be a good start. This does have quite shallow roots compared to a lot of the trees I've planted. It does have a taproot, but it's much less dependent on it than a lot of others, so a lot of these do get some root damage when coming up because it's a thick, fleshy, sort of carroty root, and sometimes the tip breaks off, but it's very good at regenerating from that. Because it has got a little bit of root damage, it does want to be a little bit more leafless and a little bit deeper in. We're going to be starting with a piece of Dracaena fragrans just to shelter it and shade it while it goes in, but then we're going to be putting it in quite deep in the hole, so quite a lot of the stem is going to be underground, so it can spread out with a few more roots. They really don't seem to mind having a little bit of their stem buried. They can sit a little bit higher on the ground, a little bit lower in the ground. They are a swamp plant by nature, so although they are very tolerant to drought, they really don't need large parts of them drying out. We're then going to be putting a piece of Aloidendron to the northwest to shade it from the afternoon light, and then filling in the sort of rest of the hole with a piece of Kalanchoe Fetchinkoi. Because everything in here has roots and there's no major open wounds, I'm going to make the hole quite wet. That the Kalanchoe and the Aloe are both already rooted. The Dracaena doesn't mind rooting in water, so it doesn't mind at all being wet under the soil, so we're going to make this hole quite wet. I did water it heavily before we planted, and now I'm sort of lasagnaing in water and soil as we go in, and then we're going to put quite a lot of water on top just to make sure everything really gets a good soaking and everything can really settle in. Right, so that should be everything for today. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed it, and if you haven't enjoyed it, thank you for watching anyway. Please tune in again tomorrow, because I will be planting something else. I don't know what yet. I have some notions, but I'm not sure, and I will be catching up on the sort of double planting soon. I just haven't gotten around to it yet, but soon.